Attention, please. It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, we're back at it again. It is a Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, right here on Dirt 360 TV. Thank you guys so much for watching, man. Everybody's starting to come in. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you hit the comment board over there. We appreciate all the comments and everything, just like this one where we say hello to all the race fans. Ryan, what's up, buddy? What's up? Just the man. Hello, hello, hello. It is awesome. We're going to show some of these, just like what we do last time. We had this young man, Ryan Forsyth. He out there in Pennsylvania. We had these guys on, him and his good buddy, last week before we headed down to California. Speaking of California, what a trip it was. Round number 5 for the Madeira race on MAV TV. It was incredible. Here in a few weeks or whatever, you guys will be able to see the tape delays, about 3 weeks or so, for the 5150 Junior Late Models and for the Lucker Daddy Pro Late Model Series. And not on top of that, we had the Legend Touring Series down there. Me and Stephen Blakesley were the main announcers for that one. Man, it was super cool. It was awesome. Some great racing. Flew out of Fresno, California at 6 a.m. I got into the hotel about 1 a.m. So I had about 4 hours of sleep, if that. Flew back into Portland. Got here about 8:45 or so. Got picked up and went and took a cat nap. It was awesome. Man, Holly Shields, what's going on, Holly? Thank you so very much for tuning in. And of course, Mr. Brian Williamson. What's up? Hey, Josh, how are things been? It's been good, dude. It has been awesome. We have a ton of stuff throughout the month that we're going to talk to you for August. What we're doing is kind of like how you all know, is we're kind of get back into the podcast type deal to try to showcase you, the drivers and the tracks and promoters. That's the reason why we're here. Dirt 360 TV isn't just for us, it's for you guys. Utilize us as a tool. Speaking of that, we have a young lady that I met here a couple weeks ago. Met her dad first, and we're talking about his daughter racing. That's super cool. I'm so proud of having some of these young ladies and stuff come into this industry and coming into racing, which is so dominated by young men. We're talking to her a little bit about that, is how these young ladies are coming in and developing and basically rocking the track. I can't say any more than that. You know, they develop so fast and everything else. It's almost kind of like a blink of the eye and they're into something else. It's crazy. Speaking of that, and speaking of young ladies, you know, getting into racing, Haley Deegan, that was down at Madeira, started out in the 5150 Junior Late Model Series. Kenny Shepard started that. He is the promoter of Madeira Speedway, and look at where she's at now. The young ladies in this industry, Renee Angel, speaking of one that is part of the UAS Grand Nationals, we'll be talking to her sometime here in the next month or so about gearing up. I love it when these young ladies approach us and say, hey, look, we'd like to be on our show and kind of showcase who we are. With that being said, sitting with her dad is Miss Alba. Todd, Miss Alba, how are you, young lady? It is super cool to see you. Thank you so much for being on Dirt 360 TV's podcast live show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It is a pleasure. I'm tired. I went out and swam out in the pool there for a little bit with my boys. Came back in. We got to do some more production and stuff for gearing up for Pennsylvania for the road to the UAS Grand Nationals in August, and then getting ready for the Grand Nationals in September. But besides that, everything's good. I had to go and do my hair a little bit earlier because it was crazy. Talk a little bit about who you are. You're 13 years old. You're out of Spokane, Washington. Kind of a little bit about that.
Well, I'm going into 8th grade, and I do stuff like basketball and volleyball for other sports. And I also like baking, and I make bracelets on my free time.
You know, so hold up your wrist. You actually have some of your bracelets and stuff that you have on, right? Dude, that's awesome. Look at that. How long does that take to do that?
They only take a couple minutes. It depends on like what type of patterns I'm doing, but they usually take like 10 minutes.
So what got you into that?
Well, I had a friend who makes them and I wanted some, but so like I just decided that I would try to make them.
That is absolutely awesome. So cool. Not only we're talking about that, but you all the way from Spokane, Washington, you came all the way over. And when I met you here a couple of weeks ago, you came all the way over to Rainier, Washington. That's a good travel over the mountain to come at race at Rainier. I want to call it Rainier Speedway. That's how I know it. That's how I've always known it. But I think it's like Rainier Super Bowl or Cycle Bowl or something like that. We were kind of talking a little bit about that too. But you lived, let me see a little. You lived in 4 states and 2 counties. Throughout your 13 years. Why moving around so much?
Well, my dad he's in the army, and so we got stationed a lot of places. So we like just moved a lot.
That's good. That's good. On top of that, you started racing an Outlaw 250 kart. That's the whole reason why we're sitting here talking. Back in 2022, when now you've never raced anything prior to this, right? You just basically jumped into a 250 cage kart.
Yeah, like I've rode like dirt bikes and stuff, but I've never raced.
And we're gonna get into that because there is something I want to talk about when you were little, when you got into a motorcycle and your outfit of choice. It wasn't safety gear, it was something else, but we're gonna get into that a little bit later. When you're there at Rainier, now you've had a couple races and stuff at another track up there in Spokane at Sunset Speedway. Talk to us a little bit about the difference between running. That's a big track, a big fast track, kind of flat a little bit compared to a really tight Rainier.
Well, at Speedway, I liked the track. Like I like it being big because you don't like. Well, when you're going straight, it's just like more time to go like faster. And then
So you're a speed demon, is what we're trying to get out of this,
yeah.
right?
Yes, very much so.
But
So,
I like the track at Rainier more just because like I like racing there because of the people there, and I like the way the track feels, I guess.
yeah, in the track that we had last time, and no, they did an amazing job to get that track in. And for what we had, right, we had so much rain. We weren't supposed to have that much rain. We had a ton of rain that basically, it soaked. It soaked up all 4 inches of the clay, which was laid over a hard surface. And when we went out there to pack it, it just started coming up. So I will give it to all the track guys, especially Lee St. Paul. Those guys did they worked their butt off to try to make sure that we had a track so people weren't disappointed, especially some of the guys and stuff that traveled quite a ways, to come up there. And to be honest, it was fun. To kick back. We started late, and trust me, by the end of it, us older guys were tired, and of course some of the younger drivers were tired. Speaking of, that, how tired were you at the end of the night?
At the end, I was exhausted. I could barely get out of my cart.
That's kind of how Aiden was too. We didn't get done until almost 12:30 or so, and he's just like, dude, I'm done. He went into the motorhome. We got done finishing, packing up and everything, and went in there. He literally fell asleep in the shower, and his mom had to take him out of the shower and put him into bed. I'm like, why is Aiden naked in bed? She's like, because he was asleep. I'm like, what do you mean it's okay? And he's like, fell asleep in the shower. I'm like, oh, gotcha. It was a long night. It was a long weekend, but we race again next weekend. You unfortunately happen to not going to be there, which kind of sucks, but you guys have some more important stuff to do, nameless to say. What are you going to do this weekend?
Well, I'm pretty sure we might go side-by-siding. Are we still doing that? So we're going to go side-by-siding, and we're just going to hang out, I guess.
So when you first got the chance and the opportunity came up and they said, hey, look, before we get into it, who's that next to you?
This is Ron. He's my stepdad, but he's like he's basically like my dad. He's a father figure to me, and he got me into racing, and I'm like really thankful for that.
Ron is amazing guy. Dude, when I talk to you and stuff, and it was funny because when you messaged me before, I'm like, who is this? I talked to so many people in such a short time, and you're like, dude, save my number. Oh yeah, totally forgot. Ron, when you decided that, hey, this is going to be a good idea, instead of maybe putting her in like a box stock or whatever, like your son races, why decide to go ahead and put her into a 250cc cage kart?
Well, I knew she could handle it. She's not really, she's pretty much fearless. And I knew it would be a really good outlet for her just to get out, teenage problems and get out there and just clear her mind. So, and I knew that she could handle the 250 and she'd be good at it. And she's been awesome.
So you used it as a cleanser?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you use, let me see. Okay, so I've never thought about putting the boys in in a cage car and go, you know what, this is gonna calm your mind. This is and it might calm their mind, but I'll tell you what, when I'm out there as a dad and a coach or what, I'm more stressed out watching those guys than I am ever racing too. And it's just like, I mean, do you ever get like that?
Me or her? Like,
for you first.
Her mom, yes, especially. I not so much. Last race, I was a little bit. I try not to show it since she went in with the 500s.
Yep.
So I was a little nervous. I tried not to show it, but she ended up doing great. So,
well, hopefully there should be another 250 here this weekend. Unfortunately, you're not going to be there, but when you guys return back, I think if we're back there on the 22nd or something. I'll have to look at the schedule. What, 29th, right?
29th, yeah.
Okay, yeah, 29th is the next round that we're going to be there. Hopefully there'll be more 250s and stuff showing up there. But so when you got the cart, right, and you got it at home and you sat in it for the very, very first time, what were your thoughts?
Well, I was really excited to race because I've like driven in a cart, but not like race at was it at your dad's house?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I drove it around, but I didn't drive it very fast, and it was a lot of fun already. So I was just really excited to get out on the track and race.
So to speak of Brian Williamson messaged and stuff, said, hey, are you coming? Yes, I am going to be back there July 1st, of course. We got a championship to win. I mean, Aiden's already pulled off his first victory. Same with our young driver, Hudson O'Hara. He won the beginner box and stuff. So yeah, we're in a points battle right now. We got to try to make it. So when you got into it then and you fired it off for the very first time, what then were your thoughts and stuff? Because you started out up there at Sunset Speedway, right? Up at Spokane or Airway Heights. I think they want to call it Airway Heights or Spokane, I guess, for the most part about it. But when you fired that car off for the very first time, what were your thoughts?
Well, like on the track, when I first went out and raced, I was like, my mind was clear and all I could focus on was the track. And so like I didn't really think of much, I guess. It was like I was just going against Nick. So and he rides a different cart than me, and so like it wasn't a lot of competition, but it was still fun.
So what do you like most about a 250 cage kart?
Well, I like so about the racing, I like basically just like going fast. It helps clear my mind, and when I'm out on the track, I like the smell, I guess.
You talk about a racer right there. That's the racer's love and dream. What about the competition and stuff? Does competition scare you?
Not really. I feel like it just pushes me to like do my best, and if I don't win, then I just know I'll do better next time.
When going from the speed and then having kind of the rough track that we had, what were your mental thoughts and stuff when once you got out there at Rainier, especially for the main event? I think it maybe was your mom that was filming the race.
Yeah.
Okay. We actually and inquired a short little video of you out there, Rainier, if you don't mind us playing that real quick.
Okay.
All right.
Something new every day. Something new every day. Yep.
So what do you think of that? So I mean, that was just a minute of the intense racing and stuff out there. You only had about 4 or 5 cars and stuff that you battled with, but when on the initial start, I mean, you're hanging right there. When you're out there, I mean, because it was kind of a rough track and stuff, and of course being tired at the end of the night. What were your thoughts?
Well, I got for at the beginning of each race and each one, I did better and better every single time, and I'm proud of myself for that. And I just thought, like, I don't care about the people, like, I don't care about winning. I just care about getting better, and so like eventually I can maybe win.
Outside of racing, you hit on just a little bit of like basketball in volleyball and that type of stuff or whatever. What are some of your aspect sports and stuff that kind of maybe might bring into the racing aspect of it? Like competition wise.
Competition wise, well, I don't really know.
So out of this
Basketball.
Yeah.
Because like you're very competitive, and basketball's a very competitive sport.
Yeah, but like volleyball's not that competitive.
volleyball, I can't play volleyball, and it's competitive. We were trying to play volleyball in the pool today. That's very competitive. If you ever play against Aiden, listen, next time you're there on the 29th, I'll let Aiden play volleyball with you. It's
like
crazy.
it's competitive, but when it comes to basketball, I'm like more into it and more like competitive.
So would you say that you enjoy basketball a lot better than racing?
I think racing's like I choose racing over basketball any day.
Good girl, good girl. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Hopefully, like I want to be in a 500 and racing with the adults more, and I just want to work on myself and like not necessarily like my speed, but being smooth around the track, and I just want to do better in that type of way.
That's awesome. So not only are you a basketball player, you are I'm trying to read some of that. You're a volleyball player. You love arts. You love hiking, camping. We all love camping. I mean, that's why we were there that weekend, right? Talk to us about training your dog.
Training
What's
my
that
dog.
about?
Well, for Christmas, I got a puppy, and we also have both of her parents, and so I train her with treats and I look up stuff, and it's a lot of fun. She's kind of like a emotional support dog. She like if I'm sad, she comforts me.
So with that also, you love to travel. What's the most famous place or most interesting place you travel to?
We go to Oregon a lot, and it's fun because we go to different places most of the time in Oregon.
What type of places do you like?
Like, we went to Tillamook, and I like the cheese factory there.
Right?
And yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fat kid, so the cheese factory was awesome.
And also, I used to live in Japan when I was younger.
Whoa, wait. What? Oh, that's right, because of the military. Well, okay, hold on. That's a total different culture than it is here in the States. Now, did you? Okay, I gotta ask this. Did you eat like raw fish and that crazy stuff?
Yeah.
Ugh. No, no, no. Okay, so did they? Is it true that they actually have vending machines that have like raw fish and like calamari and all? Are you serious right now? Like a vending machine,
Yeah.
bro? No, that is no. I am not. How do you go and say, you know what? I'm a vending machine. I'm gonna get that like tuna or that trout or yellow snapper, whatever that they have over in Japan. That ugh. How
I
that's
lived,
crazy.
I, I lived there when I was younger, so I don't remember a lot.
You
But
remember the vending machines though. So is Japan? What part of Japan did you live?
Okinawa.
Okinawa. Oh, that's where Mr. Miyagi's from. Did you ever get to meet him?
Oh no.
No. He hides a lot from my understanding, whatever like that. Daniel-san visits there quite a bit. But yeah, I've never visited Okinawa. uh, so with traveling and everything else, you like to bake. Now, where did the baking thing come in?
Um, when I was younger, I baked a lot with my mom, and it's just like I don't know, it's a lot of fun, and I like baking stuff for my friends, and sometimes I bring them to school and just like give them cookies at random.
So what's the best thing that you can bake? Like brownies or cookies or cakes or what?
Um, so like one of my favorite things to make is a peach cobbler, and
Get out of
also
town.
I like decorating cakes, but I don't like eating cake.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a cake eater. All right. So this is your homework, okay? I like brownies, right? So if you bake brownies, I will be your tester when you come back to Rainier on the 29th, and I'll tell you if you can bake or not, okay?
Okay.
Is that a deal?
Deal.
Brownies. um so with baking, traveling, you talked about a little bit about your jewelry and stuff. We're going to get into your motorcycle career. With that being said, young lady, is that you weren't the most safest motorcycle racer. And I'm not saying as a sense of your riding, it's your riding gear. You were the girl that wore the tutu to ride a motorcycle.
Yep.
What is do you explain this to us and to the viewers at home that are watching this, the tutu deal.
So I liked riding motorcycles, but I didn't want to do it without my fashion. So I had to wear my tutus. And if I didn't, I'm pretty sure I'd like throw fits about it if I didn't wear a tutu. And I remember one time I was riding a dirt bike with my dad and it got caught on something and then I started like hysterically crying because of it.
Yeah, you think it's a tutu? There's a chain. I mean, you could, but I mean, and you're old. I mean, you're young. You started out like what, 4 years old or so?
Um, I don't really remember.
Well, mom's
3.
mom's in the
It was
background, and
it was 3.
she's giving you she's giving you the picture signs. She is, isn't she?
Yep.
So when you told people at school, well, you didn't, yeah, because you're out of school or whatever. Do you tell people and stuff that you're going to be on tonight?
I told 4 of my friends.
And do you think they're watching right now?
Well, I know one of them is because she told me she was going to, and she told me she was on it.
So she's already messaging you.
Yeah, I was like earlier before we started, right before that, I was texting her.
And what did she say?
She was just saying good luck and that I'm gonna do great.
So if she's still watching, we'll see if she makes a comment and stuff down there on the comment board. And what's her name?
Addie.
So Addie, if you're watching your best friend, if you're supporting your best friend, we need to see a comment down there in that comment board saying that you support her. So do you think she's gonna do it?
I don't know.
You think she'll be embarrassed?
Maybe.
Well, let's see. Let's see if she has it. So you talking about the next 5 years, you want to bump up to the 500 class and stuff, and traveling around is gets you more of that experience and traveling from one track to another track. What's the biggest track that you want to go to that's kind of like on your bucket list?
I really want to go to Black Canyon. And
You've got your answers, cousin and his girlfriend watching. Well, there you go. See, there's some. Bluff Canyon. You talking about Red Bluff?
Black Canyon.
Oh, that's in Idaho.
Yeah.
Yeah, real. That track's amazing. I've personally I haven't been there. I've always wanted to film there, because it's fast. I mean, they hold micros and cage karts and go karts and all that type of stuff. I think there she is. Oh, that's Amanda. Amanda says hi.
Hi. That's my aunt.
Black Canyon is very, very fast, very, very fun. Again, I personally haven't been there, but it's something that I really, really want to go out to be able to film. I think they have some amazing drivers and stuff that come out of that, that camp and that track over there too. So, after that, you get into the 500 class. Have you ever thought about possibly getting into like a sprint car or anything like that?
Maybe, but for now I'm just gonna stick with Outlaws.
There you go. So, Dad, we're gonna call you Dad, Ron. What do you think of this young lady and stuff so far in her racing career in the first year?
I think she's done absolutely awesome. So I'm just to watch her from last year. She only raced 3 races last year because she actually took a pretty nasty flip and was out for a couple of races. But like I think day 2, she was already asking if she can get back in.
Wait, you didn't put that in your bio. Why didn't you? That's a conversation piece right there.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so we'll hold on, Dad. We'll go back to this one. So when did you flip? Was it your very, very first race?
It was my second race, and I just like flipped in the entry area, and then there were like tires, I'm pretty sure, and I just went straight into them, and then I rolled over.
Hold on. So you didn't even make it to the track?
No, it was like I made it to the track, but when I was going, I like ran into it.
It was on turn 4 at Sunset. So like right
when you come off the track. Yep.
Yeah. She got high onto the shoulder, like just full throttle, and kind of pulled it out, and then it sucked her back in, and she hit the wall and flipped it.
Well, you can't. I guess you can't ever say that she didn't give it her all, right? For the second time out. So what was going through your head and stuff too? When she flipped.
I was actually flagging that corner that night, and I dropped everything, and I was the first one running up to her, and she was balling, and so I made sure she was okay. We flipped the cart back over and checked her out before we got her out, but
yeah,
it was definitely a little scary.
Yeah.
We were down at Salem this last winter, and Aiden went out, and I think it was his second race. And I told him, okay, now we got the first race in. This is the second weekend. I said, you need to sit there and go give it all. I said, practice. I said, this is where you need to sit there and figure out where the car is going to be good on the bottom, good on the top. I said, you got to give it full throttle, get off the brakes. You got to kind of give you a little bit more aggressive. And he says, okay, Dad. He says, I got this. He literally went out there on lap number 2. He was going down the front stretch, and I kind of saw the kid that was in front of him kind of go a little bit high. And I'm like, okay. And in my head, I'm like, okay, we'll dive down low. Sure thing. He dove down low, and so did the other kid. And boom, he hits, and he comes up, and he's almost 90 degrees to the air, and he comes back down and almost hits the backstretch wall and keeps it going. And I'm like, oh God, okay, cool. Okay, we got the first wreck. Quote, we got the first wreck done. The next day, because it was a Friday, Saturday show, I told him, I said, okay, good. I said, how did that feel? And he goes, I feel good. He says, I think it was a little too aggressive. I'm like, nope, we got to get a little bit more. And he's like, okay. So he turns back around, goes back out there, and I don't know if it was the same kid, but the next kid, he goes and dives underneath him again. He comes down, and of course, it wasn't Aiden's fault. Wheel hopped him and rolled it before his mother got there. And I'm thinking, oh my God. Okay. So we went out there, and of course, Salem has an amazing, track safety crew. They got him, rolled him back over. I'm just kind of standing there, I'm the patient dad, and I want to come talk to him. And Mike's like, hey, let the crews do what they're doing. I'm like, okay. And so when they finally got him over, and Mike asked him, he says, how you feeling? He says, I'm feeling good. He goes, well, you want to talk to your dad now? And he's like, yeah. So I came around the deal. I'm like, how you doing, buddy? He goes, can it still run? like, yeah, hold on. Wait, are you okay? And he goes, yeah. Can it still run? Can we still go? I'm like, well, let's go see. And so we pulled it back in. Of course, had a Ben Axel, but man, Mike and his crew, Jeremy Herrero, his dad. I mean, we had a ton of people come, pull the axle out, get him ready. We missed the first 2 heats and got him back out there for the main and did pretty well. But yeah, that first rollover as a dad, crazy. I said, now that you got that out of your system, I said, let's do this, let's do this, a little bit better now. So, and he did a little bit better. And of course, having Rainier for the outdoor is having a good time. So, have you ever ran the indoor, young lady?
Nope.
What's your schedule?
We plan on doing it this winter.
So what's your schedule look like? Are you going to run like Roseburg and Salem?
Probably just Salem.
Just Salem?
Yeah.
All right. So are you excited for that?
Yeah.
What are you most excited for?
I'm just excited to go and try out new tracks, like for a lot of different tracks.
Well, I'll tell you what, you keep on doing what you're doing, and the competition and stuff out there is going to know that you're there. What did Mom say?
Also, like, I want to see Tanner Holmes.
Everybody likes Tanner Holmes. I got his phone number. No, Tanner is he's an amazing guy. He actually helped a lot when we needed some chassis setup and everything else too, for being a factory QRC driver. And of course, a 410 and a 360 sprint car driver and everything. That young man is very, very developed and very knowledgeable when it especially comes around the Pacific Northwest and just racing in general. He's a very, very, very nice young man. Maybe we'll let him know that you said hi. We'll send him the video. With that being said, why? Okay, first off, before we end it, why do you like Tanner Holmes so much?
Well, like when I first got into racing, Ron mentioned Tanner Holmes, and then I just started watching his videos and his sisters, and like they're just like the people I look up to.
His sister took a pretty good tumble last year there at Cottage Grove, but then she's fully recovered and stuff now. But that young lady is very, very, very talented. That whole Holmes group, all that type of stuff is very, very talented. And I think, young lady, that you are very talented. And I think if you keep up the good work, stay positive. It's just racing. That's all it is. We're not. It's a glorified hobby. So make it fun. If you could have any advice or whatever, if I could give you any advice, just go out there and have fun. The wins will come, the championships will come, but all that. But at the end of the day, you need to leave there the same way you came in, and that's having fun. So
Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. And your dad right there, he's a good talent. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. that was only $5. That was only a $5 tip to be able to say that one. But it's super cool to be able to see young ladies like yourself, get into this sport that's been so dominated by male figures, and now watch these male figures be scared because of females coming in and pretty much showing them up. And I think that if you dedicate yourself to your craft, I think because us guys, we're just dumber in a box of rocks sometimes, and we overthink something. And having young ladies out there, I don't think they overthink it too much, but can be a great talent. And I think you have that great talent. One last little comment and stuff right here came from Amanda. So proud of you and have fun. So you got a ton of fans and stuff out there, young lady.
That's my aunt.
Before we let you go, talk about some of the people and stuff that help you out on the number 17 250 cage.
So, like, for sponsors?
Yeah. Okay. So, my mom with Debbie's Flower Barn out of Chihuahua, Washington. She's helped sponsored us and helped. My dad and my stepmom with Double R Racing. has helped us, and then my good friend Noah Sapinus with Dead Workhorse has also come aboard to give us a hand, and of course her mom and the rest of our family and all of our friends that show up to help us and support us and everything else.
I'm actually wearing one of Noah's workhorse
Well,
shirts right now.
so
That's awesome. Well, Alba, we can't wait to see you on the 29th, and of course, we can't wait to see your little brother, who's going to be driving a beginner box. No, box stock, beginner box,
box stock.
box stock.
Yep.
So it's going to be some good competition and stuff. I'm glad that the Lee St. Paul has put this program together with the CKA. This is amazing to be able to have those guys, step up, and it does, ladies and gentlemen, take a bunch of people that they volunteer their time to be able to do this, and that's the thing, is that you got to remember that all of this racing in the Pacific Northwest, 99% of it is all volunteer. So we do, if you guys are involved in any sort of way, come out to the track, volunteer, have fun, be fun with us, because if we lose this, then we lose the Pacific Northwest. That's simple how it is. There's been so many people that have done it for so many years that have now decided, hey, look, it's time for us to kind of step back and let the new generation of stuff come in. But Lee St. Paul and his whole crew and stuff there, with the Outlaw guys, it's awesome. I'm glad to be part of that group and to be able to race under their umbrella. It's super cool, and to be able to watch the younger drivers, so some of the older drivers, and of course you, young lady, develop in this program. And hopefully it takes you to bigger and better things. And maybe one of these days we'll see you in a 410 sprint car on the World Outlaw Touring Series. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Sounds like a blast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our time. I can't thank you guys so very much for coming on. Alba, Todd out of Spokane, Washington, only 13 years old, ladies and gentlemen, 13. Look how mature she is. And you wait till you see her behind a wheel of that 250cc cage kart. It is going to blow your mind on how talented she is. Don't let it fool you on the way the track and stuff was last time. But let's see. And Lippy put in a lot of support also. Yes, Glenn Lippy Tower with the CKA. I can't, and I'm so sorry for not putting him in there. Glenn Lippy Tower is the reason why CKA. Rusty Rossmeyer is the reason why the CKA. Ronnie Cox, Renee Angel, all the guys and stuff for over the years that have put CKA, Cascade Karting Association, on the map and allowed us to have Rainier and all that. And Brian, thank you so very much for pointing that out. Lippy has been such an asset to this sport and karting and just racing in the Pacific Northwest in general. Definitely can't not think of him when we talk about this. It's very unfortunate, and I understand, he's tired, he's ready to retire, put the hat on and hand over the reins to other people. But Glenn Lippy Tower, Rusty Rossmeyer, that whole gang, the whole CKA gang itself, and it goes all the way down to the scores that are volunteer, the pit entry people, the guys that, come to collect your money, the tech guys, all that type of stuff. Thank you guys so very much for doing what you do, because again, we can't do this without you guys. And that's from the bottom of our heart here. And of course, I'm sure it's across the board. But yes, Brian Williams, you're 110% correct. Lippy is a huge part to be like that, in this industry. So with that being said, you guys hang on right there, Alba. We're going to go to some closing credits. But man, thank you guys so very much for coming on. Here in a couple of days, we are going to have another podcast with another driver. So make sure that you sit there and you watch Dirt 360 TV for all of that coverage and all that information going to come back at you. We've got a laundry list right before we go to the UAS Grand Nationals in August. So with that being said, thank you guys so very much for watching, and we will see you guys next time.